दृष्टुं ज्वलन्तं सर्वतोमुखं नृसिंहं भीषणं भद्रं मृत्युं नमाम्यहम्. Now we'll come to this. We have read in the last class what is an oxide and what are different type of oxides. The oxides, when an element combines with undergoes chemical reaction with oxygen, form the compound. The compound is called oxide. Depending upon the type of the element which is reacting with oxygen, the oxides formed exhibits different properties. Depending on the properties the oxides exhibit, they are named differently. So depending upon the element, we have two types of elements. There are some elements which have a tendency to lose electron. We call them as electropositive element. They exhibit metallic character. And those elements which have a tendency to take electron, they are called as electronegative elements. They exhibit non-metallic character. So all the electropositive element, they react with oxygen to form an oxide. Those oxides exhibit the basic properties, hence they are called as basic oxides. And all non-metallic elements, they react with electronegative elements. They are non-metallic element, react with oxygen to form the oxides. They exhibit acidic properties, hence are called as acidic oxides. But there are some metals exhibit both character, both metallic character and non-metallic character. Metal character may be less, non-metallic character more, or metallic character more, non-metallic character less. Such elements, they react with oxygen to form an oxide. They are called amphoteric oxide. They exhibit both acidic property and basic property. And there are some oxides which are neither acidic nor basic. They are called the neutral oxides. So acidic oxides, basic oxides, amphoteric oxides, neutral oxides, we have discussed them. Now we'll come to what happens when what are salts and how the salts are formed and what are the characteristics of a salt. So if you come to salt, the acids react with bases to undergo neutralization. This reaction is called neutralization. To undergo neutralization to form salts. So why it is called neutralization? My point is called why neutralization? We are taking an acid. So this acid, when we allow to react with a base, they react to form salt, and this is called neutralization. This reaction, chemical reaction, is called neutralization. Because what was this acid? It was turning blue litmus red. It has H plus. If you come to base, it has OH minus and turn red litmus blue. But the moment we come to salt, it will neither turn blue litmus red nor red litmus blue. That means it will not exhibit acidic character, it will not exhibit basic character. So acid loses its acidic character, base loses its basic character. They become what? They become neutral. They are neither acidic nor basic. So it is called neutral. Hence the reaction is called neutralization. So the base neutralizes the acid, or the acid neutralizes the base. Hence this reaction is called neutralization. So if you write they say a general formula, acid you are writing, base we are writing, acid you are writing what? HX, HA. What is A? A is the acid HA, and what is the base? BOH. What are hydroxides and oxides of metals are called bases, and those compounds which contain H plus, they are called acids. So now they will react. So what will happen? So here A is minus, H is plus. Here B is plus, OH is minus. So this H plus will react with OH to form water, and this positive part, negative part will they combine to form the Ba. So this is the salt. So B plus A minus. So B comes from base. B comes from where? From base. It comes from base. Hence this is called as basic radical. This is called basic radical. And A comes from where? A comes from acid. A is coming from where? From acid. So it comes from acid. So this is called as acid radical. So let me take an example. I'll take an example. The base is sodium hydroxide. Suppose I take a base sodium hydroxide, and I'll take the acid HCl. So what will happen here? Sodium is positive, Na plus, OH minus is negative, H plus, Cl is minus. So we know opposite charges attract. Sodium is positive, will be attracted to chloride, so it will form NaCl, and H plus will combine to form what? Water. Now this is a salt. This sodium chloride is salt. So this is Na plus and Cl minus. So this Na comes from, so this is the base. Na comes from where? From the base. Cl comes from where? From the acid. So sodium plus is called basic radical, Cl minus is called acid radical. Now your doubt is clear. Why electropositive radicals are called basic radical, electronegative radicals are called as acid radical. The part of the salt, when an acid reacts with base, undergo neutralization to form a salt, a product called salt. So the part of the salt, the positive part of the salt which comes from the base is called basic radical. The negative part of the salt which comes from the acid is called acid radical. And since is a positive charge is called cation, and is a negative charge is called the anion. Very beginning when we started reading radical, there we wrote these radicals are up to types. The electropositive radical, electronegative radical. Electropositive radicals are called as basic radical, electronegative radicals are called as acid radical. Now it's clear why they were called as basic radical and why they are called as acid radical. So this reaction is called neutralization reaction. So now these salts should be neutral, but all the salts are not completely neutral. There are some salts they exhibit basic property, and there are some salts they exhibit acidic property. There are some salts they exhibit basic property, and there are some salts they exhibit acidic property. So those basic salts and acidic salts. So these salts can be these salts should be neutral, because acid react with base to form a salt. It should not exhibit acidic property, it should not exhibit basic property. If we have a strong acid, weak base, the salt will be basic. It will exhibit basic property. If I have a weak base, strong acid, it will have, the acid will dominate, then it will have acidic property. So depending upon the nature of the acid and base react to undergo neutralization, the salts formed exhibit different properties. Accordingly, they have basic salts or acidic salts. So depending upon, we'll come to depending on the type of acid, depending upon the nature of the acid. So this acids may be a strong acid. Suppose you take a strong acid and a weak base, and a weak base will have a salt. So this will form acidic salt. this will form acidic salt. And when you take a weak acid, if you take a weak acid and react with a strong base, then this will form basic salt. This salt will exhibit basic property and this salt will exhibit acidic property, because who is dominating? The acid is dominating, so acidic salt, and who is dominating? The base is dominant, basic salt. So when we will write the chemical equations, we will look to the compound, whether it is acid, whether it is a base, or it is a salt, or acidic salt, or basic salt. Then our mind will instruct us, the reaction will take place like this and the product will be like this. I told you, my children, we read to learn, we learn to understand. By our understanding we get the knowledge, and the knowledge synthesizes to give us the wisdom. So that wisdom gives us direction to go for conclusion. So if our learning process is correct, then the wisdom we gain is 100% pure with us and very, very clear with us, and that will give us a good understanding of the subject, and we will be giving a opinion, and that answer will be a correct answer. Whenever we put a question, anybody puts such a question, we are answering correctly when we know the subject clearly. Otherwise we get confused. So my point is, whatever we read, what we are reading, we should know. So there is a saying in English, you should know what you know. One should know what one know not, and then only he can know. If I know what I know, if I know what I know not, then I can know what to know and what not to know. So then only I can learn properly. So I should know what I know, and I should not know what I do not know. Then I can know what I want to know. So let's come to this acidic salt and basic salt. I will give an example. So which acids? Depending upon the acids, strong acid and weak acid. If your electronegative element is highly electronegative, the acid produced will be a strong acid. If the electronegative element is less electronegative, then the acid produced will be a weak acid. If the electropositive element is highly strongly electropositive, it will be a strong base, and if it is a less electropositive element, then it will be a weak base. So that we can know from the periodic table. Lower the group number, stronger is the metallic character, higher is the electropositive character. Larger is the group number, larger is the electronegative character, and that is the way you can know which is electropositive, which is more electropositive, which is less electropositive, and we can take a decision from that. So let's take an example. So these salts are of two types. We have the acidic salt and basic salt. For example, we will take sodium hydroxide, is a strong base, and we treat this with carbonic acid, H2CO3. Then this is plus, this is minus, this is minus, this plus. So this will react and they will react. So it will happen here. So it will form the salt, sodium carbonate and water. We will get sodium. So 2 sodium atoms are there. So multiply this by 2. So how we get carbonic acid? We take water. When we treat this with carbon dioxide, this will form carbonic acid, and this carbonic acid will react with sodium hydroxide to form sodium carbonate. So now this sodium carbonate, this is what? A strong base. What is sodium hydroxide? Is a strong base. What is carbonic acid? Is a weak acid. This is a weak acid. So here this will be a basic salt. This will what? A basic salt. Sodium carbonate is a basic salt. This sodium carbonate react with acids to produce carbon dioxide and water. So this is a basic salt. Why? So sodium carbonate is a basic salt. So that is the reason if you take sodium carbonate, it will react with acid. If you add acid, say HCl, this will form sodium chloride, carbon dioxide and water. This will produce sodium chloride, carbon dioxide and water. Sodium is plus and carbonate is minus and H is plus, Cl is minus. So you have 2 sodium, so 2 HCl, so 2 NaCl, this will 2 NaCl. So this is salt, neutral. This is what? Now neutral. And this is a gas, carbon dioxide, and this water is neutral. So now you will find here, so this sodium carbonate is basic. This is basic and this is an acid. This forms an acid, basic and acid. This is the way the reaction takes place. Sodium carbonate is example. Now I will give an example for your acidic salt. I will give an example for forming acidic salt. So this is a very strong base, react with a weak acid, the salt formed is called, the salt form is a basic salt. So when a strong acid react with a weak base, the salt formed is a basic salt. The salt formed is a basic salt. Now we will take an example of an acidic salt, because these are the reactions we will come to. These are the type of these compounds will come much in chemical reactions, and if we know their property, it will be very easy for us to write the balanced chemical equation. Suppose I take an example of copper hydroxide, and I am treating this with if a copper carbonate you take copper carbonate, CuCO3 is a salt. You take this, you take a base, copper hydroxide, okay. You take a copper hydroxide, that is very good, copper hydroxide. We are treating this with sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid is a strong acid. The sulfuric acid is a strong acid, and this copper hydroxide is a weak base. This is a weak base. So copper is +2, OH is -1, hydrogen is +1, sulfate is -2. So what will happen? The copper is +2 will go to sulfate to form what? Copper sulfate, and this will form what? Water. So now this is copper sulfate, is a salt, and copper comes from the base and sulfate comes from the acid. So copper +2 is a basic radical, sulfate -2 is a acid radical. So this is copper +2 and here sulfate -2. So this copper +2 is what? A basic radical and comes from the base, and sulfate -2 is called acid radical because it comes from the acid. It comes from the acid. So then who is a strong acid? So this copper sulfate is a acidic salt. Acidic salt. So copper sulfate, many often question comes in the exam that explain copper sulfate is acidic, explain sodium carbonate is basic, explain sodium carbonate is basic, explain copper sulfate is acidic. We will say that copper sulfate is a salt formed from copper hydroxide and sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid is a strong acid and copper hydroxide is a weak base, hence the salt produced has a basic acidic character, and we say have acidic, it is acidic salt, copper sulfate. Then how you prove the copper sulfate is an acidic salt? If it is an acid, it will react with base. Acids react with base to form salt and water. Now if we take copper sulfate, say we take what is this? This is acidic salt. What is this now? We want to confirm this is acidic salt. Then what this should be? This should react with whom? It should react with a base. So copper is +2, sulfate is -2, sodium is +1, OH is -1. We want to prove copper sulfate is an acidic salt. When we can prove, if copper sulfate is an acidic salt, it has to react with whom? With sodium hydroxide. What is sodium hydroxide? Is a base. So this forms what? This forms copper hydroxide and sodium, copper hydroxide and sodium sulfate. We'll have this forms copper sulfate from copper hydroxide and this. So you get so this is reacting, this copper sulfate is reacting with whom? With a base. So since it is reacting with a base, so automatically this is a acidic basic, this is acidic salt. So these salts are of two types. If you have an acid with a strong acid, then if a salt is formed from a weak base, strong acid, this salt is acidic. If it is a strong base, weak acid, it is basic. If both are strong, then salt is neutral. When both acids and bases are strong acid and strong base, if you have a strong acid, will react with a strong base. A strong base, it will be this. So for example, will a neutral salts. How? We'll take when a strong acid will react with a strong base. Strong base, the salt formed will be a neutral. This will be a neutral salt. So example, let's take sulfur. We will take an example, hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid is a strong acid because chlorine belongs to which group? Group 7. Chlorine belongs to which group of the periodic table? Group 7A or group 17 of the long form periodic table. Highest the group number, strongest is its negative character, strongest will be the acidic character. So HCl, and base is sodium hydroxide, is a strong base. Strong base. Now it is H plus, this Cl minus, this Na plus, this OH minus. So they will react now to form sodium chloride and these water. So this salt is a neutral salt. This is a neutral salt because HCl is a strong base, will completely neutralize sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide is a strong base, will completely neutralize water, and they produce sodium chloride, the salt, neutral salt, and water. So you get, so the salts will be up generally. There are many other type of things. I am not going to deep about the salt. I am just giving you some language, some word power, which will help us to understand the chemistry, chemistry of the compounds, and that we are taking, and some language we are learning, so that for better things we can understand this. So let's come to this. Is what is called when a strong base react with strong acid, the salt is neutral. When a weak base react with strong acid, the salt is acidic. When a strong base react with weak acid, it is acidic salt. So three types of salts will have: acidic salt, basic salt, neutral salt. And a salt, the part of the salt which comes from base is called basic radical. The part of the salt which comes from the acid is called acid radical. So this is what is acid, what is a base, and what is a salt. Now we'll come to what you mean by a chemical reaction. Chemical reaction. Reaction, chemical. The reaction due to chemical compounds will come as a chemical react. Suppose I am here, somebody comes and tells me, "Sir, I love you very much." So my face will be very happy face, you will see at that time. "Thank you so much," I will tell him. I will tell him, "Thank you so much." So I am reacting to his words, thanking him, thanking. So my face will be being brightened, and I will tell him in a very sweetly, I will tell, "Thank you so much for your love and affection for me." I have reacted to his words. I will say that I have reacted to his words. Now somebody will come and tell me you are the useless person and you never teach properly to us, and you are coming as a teacher to the class. Hell with you. The moment my face will be small, very small. My eyes will get open and I will be furious and tell, don't talk like this. If you talk it like this, who told you to come here to attend my class? I have not invited you. I will tell so nonsense things at that time. I will be very angry at that time. That also I have reacted. There also I have reacted. This is my reaction. So my reaction depends on what? On the other person who is standing in front of me. The person who comes to me, the way he deals with me, exactly in similar way I deal with him. So my reaction depends on him. My reaction. So exactly same thing happens in chemistry. We have reactants. So we have a reactants react to produce the product, and the change going on is called as a chemical reaction. You will have the reactants, two chemical compounds. When they are allowed to mix, you will mix them, or allowed to heat them, or give them some force, then they will undergo chemical reaction and they will produce a product. So that is called a chemical reaction. So this chemical reaction is always quantitative and the chemical reactions are always qualitative. Because as I told, my reaction is qualitative and my reaction is also quantitative. If somebody tells me very softly, I will talk to him very softly. If I talk to him very roughly, my behavior becomes also very rough. So my behavior he becomes quantitative. If he shouts at me, I will also equally shout at him. So quantitative. Quality, he will tell me with loving words, I will tell with loving words. If he will talk to me with kind words, I will talk with kind words. So qualities. So every reaction has two properties. One is called qualitative property and called quantitative property. So in a qualitative property, what quality of the substance will take? In a quantitative property, the number of atoms or radicals taking part in chemical reaction will take. So when we are studying a chemical reaction, we should know the quality of the substances we are allowing them to react. If two good people, they are sitting and talking, then they will be talking nice things. If two bad people, they will be talking some nonsense things, and their outcome will be something spurious. Exactly same thing happens in a chemical reaction. I told you, my friends, that every human being is in an elementary state. So every human being is in also atomic nature. So I am an atom. My behavior is atomic behavior, because and I am element. I will have my qualities, elementary basic properties. So depending upon exactly my reactions, I react with others exactly depending upon the other person. My reaction changes. Exactly same thing as can happen. If you take sodium, put into water, it violently reacts. It produces a hydrogen gas, produces sound, and produces light. Then if I take copper is also a metal. I put into water, copper silently goes into water, remains there for years and years and years. Nothing happens. Now the change, if you find there's no change. This thing is happening. So depends upon what? Depend upon the sodium. Water is same, but sodium has a quality and copper quality. So sodium reacts with water to produce sound, light, a gas, hydrogen gas. When copper I put into water, it goes silently, remains water, does not happen. So I should know. Then if I know what is going to happen, I should know what is sodium and what is copper. Now sodium is a highly electropositive metal, and there is a highly positive metal. If I have water reacts with sodium, because hydrogen has two radicals, H plus, OH minus, and sodium so is a electropositive, so takes hydroxide, so sodium hydroxide and leaves H plus. sodium hydroxide, hydrogen. But copper is a electropositive metal, no doubt, but less electropositive. So it will not take OH minus easily. It will not take OH minus easily. So the reaction will not be possible. So this way we have to, whatever knowledge, simple knowledge we have earned, now we will using those simple words to study what is a chemical equation and how to write a chemical equation and how to balance a chemical equation. So we want to go, as I was telling you, talking to you, that we will study the chemical reactions and we will represent the chemical reaction by an equation, and that equation should be a balanced equation. So the next class which I am going to do, I will what is a chemical equation, then how to write a chemical equation, how to write a chemical equation, and then how to balancing a chemical equation. So first we'll write what is chemical, we'll read what is chemical equation, then we will study how to write a chemical equation, then we will learn balancing chemical equation. So then first you should know what is equation and what is a chemical equation. Then we will come to write how to write the chemical equation. So then what is equation? Equation is a term which explains the equality between two terms. It expresses equality between two terms. When it expresses the equality between two terms, it is called equation. I am good to him means he is good to me, I am good to him. So we have a very good equation with us. If somebody is very good friendly to me and is a good friend of mine, I'll say him, I have very good friendship with him, my equations are very correct with him, so I can request for you, there will not be a problem for you. But somebody is not good to me and I'm not having a good relation with him, so I will tell him my equation with him is not that good. So probably he will not accept my words. He will not accept my words. So I will not request him. I will tell you. So that is called equation. Equation is an expression which explains the equality between two terms. Equality between two terms. Then chemical equation. Why? Now the substances when react by their chemical equivalences. I told you very beginning, substances when react by their chemical equivalences. Then what are the law of science? There is no loss or gain of energy. The energy is never created or destroyed. So the energy remains constant. Law of conservation of mass. When the mass remains always constant. So when two substances will react, the product produced will have the same mass. When two substances will react, the number of reactants, the number of atoms will react will be always equal to the number of atoms product. Why? The atom cannot be created or destroyed. The atom cannot be created or destroyed. The energy cannot be created or destroyed. The mass cannot be destroyed, and so mass remains constant. Number of atoms remain constant. And in chemistry, when you come, the substances when react, they react by their equivalences. So the number of atoms undergoing chemical reaction will be always equal to the number of atoms produced as product. The energy of the atoms undergoing chemical reaction will be equal to the energy produced as a product. Hence we say that there is a equality between the reactant and a product. Hence every chemical reaction can be represented by a chemical equation. So next class I will talk to you what is chemical equation and what is how to write the chemical equation and how to balance chemical equation. You please read Language of Chemistry. There is a book called Language of Chemistry. You go to purchase one language of chemistry or procure one language of chemistry. You have the language of chemistry, many publishers, and go through that. You read atom, molecule, element, radical, electropositive element, electronegative element, then valency, electropositive valency, electronegative valency, then oxides, acidic oxide, basic oxide, neutral oxide, salts, all these things I have taught you. You go through them. So next class when I will come, I will again tell you what is a chemical equation, why a chemical reaction can be written by a chemical equation, and how to write a chemical equation of a chemical reaction, then how to balance the chemical equation. That is the most important topic of chemistry, and if a student learns this perfectly and learns how to write a balanced chemical equation, then he can complete inorganic chemistry and organic chemistry very perfectly and easily and be successful. So thank you very much, children. Go through what I have taught you and come to next class. We'll start with what is a how to write a chemical equation and how to balance a chemical equation or balancing chemical equations by different methods. Thank you very much.